The sound of laughter echoed through the school hallway, but it wasn't the kind of laughter that brings joy. It was cruel, sharp, and targeted. In the center of it all stood Emily, clutching the small silver necklace that hung around her neck. It wasn't just any piece of jewelry. It was her mother's last gift before she passed away. That necklace was her anchor, her strength, and her connection to the woman she missed every single day. Emily wasn't the loud type. She was quiet, kept to herself, and never tried to stand out. But that necklace always caught attention. It shimmered under the fluorescent lights, and unfortunately, it caught the eyes of the school's worst bullies, Jake and his gang. Jake, tall and cocky, thrived on making others miserable. To him, weakness was entertainment. One morning, as Emily walked past the lockers, Jake blocked her path. His smirk sent shivers down her spine. "Nice necklace," he sneered. "Looks expensive. What's it worth?" Emily's fingers instinctively curled around it, her voice trembling. "It's not for sale. Please leave me alone." But Jake didn't back off. Instead, he reached forward and tugged at the chain. Emily resisted, holding on with all her strength. She begged him not to touch it, her eyes wide with desperation. That only made the bullies laugh harder. With one swift, careless pull, Jake snapped the chain. The fragile silver links scattered across the floor, the pendant clinking against the cold tiles. For Emily, the world stopped. Her chest tightened, and tears burned in her eyes as she fell to her knees, gathering the broken pieces. "That's what you get for acting so precious about junk," Jake mocked, tossing a piece of the chain into the trash. The laughter around her felt deafening. But deep inside, something in Emily shifted. She wasn't just the quiet girl anymore. She was her mother's daughter. And what they had broken wasn't just a necklace. It was her last piece of her mom's love. Emily stood up slowly. Her tears were still there, but behind them burned a fire that no one had ever seen before. Jake smirked again, expecting her to cry or run. But instead, Emily whispered, "You'll regret that." The bullies scoffed, unaware of the secret Emily carried. For years, she had trained in martial arts. Her mom had enrolled her when she was little, saying, "One day, you'll need to be strong for yourself." Emily had worked her way up with discipline, sweat, and determination, until she earned her black belt. She never bragged about it. She never needed to. But today it was time. When Jake shoved her shoulder, Emily moved like lightning. She grabbed his arm, twisted it with precise control, and sent him sprawling onto the floor with a thud that silenced the hallway. The laughter died instantly. His friends lunged at her, but Emily's training kicked in. Every movement was sharp, fluid, and unstoppable. A kick sent one bully staggering back into the lockers. Another boy tried to grab her, but she spun, using his momentum to throw him onto the ground. Gasps filled the hallway as the gang of bullies, once so fearless, now lay groaning in pain, clutching bruises and sprains. Teachers rushed over, but by then, the damage was done. The bullies weren't just embarrassed. They were beaten at their own game. The principal's office was filled with tension that afternoon. The bullies tried to play the victims, whining about how Emily had attacked them. But when witnesses came forward, students who had seen the necklace destroyed, who had seen the bullying for months, the truth came out. The principal's stern eyes turned toward Jake and his crew. Suspension, punishment, consequences. Emily sat quietly, still holding the broken necklace in her palm. The pieces felt heavy, but not as heavy as before. A teacher noticed and gently said, "We'll see if it can be fixed." But Emily shook her head. "It doesn't need fixing," she whispered. "It already gave me the strength I needed." That night, Emily placed the pendant in a small box on her desk. She lit a candle beside it and whispered to the memory of her mother, "You told me to be strong. Today I finally was." The challenges didn't end overnight. The whispers in the hallway, the stares, and the fear of standing out still followed her. But something inside Emily had changed. She was no longer the girl who stayed silent while others crushed her spirit. She carried herself differently, with quiet confidence. And that made the bully's power shrink day by day. Over time, even some of the kids who had laughed at her before came to her, apologizing, admitting they admired her courage. Emily didn't forgive easily, but she learned that strength wasn't just about fighting back. It was about standing tall in the face of cruelty and choosing not to let it define her. The bullies. They learned a hard lesson. Hospital visits, suspension, and humiliation taught them that hurting others always comes back harder than they expect. And Emily. She walked with her head high, knowing her mother's love wasn't in the necklace. It was in her heart, guiding her every step.